Yes.
Hall- Halloween disaster of 2003, or was it 2004? Was it '03 or '04, Andre? I think it was '04.
No, I think it was
Was
'03.
it
3.
'03? Because it
Mhm.
was hosted by Maris and Greg Stone, aka Uncle Nasty. You were there, Andrea. Let me lead this in with this. I remember in '03, my drummer Brandon, he worked security at Fat City during that time. And he says, "Hey, Fat City's looking for bands." I said, "Let me take a look at the place." I
Uh-huh.
took a look at the place. I put the words fuck and no and put it together. No way. No fucking way. And this is a guy who booked at Pinky's before the stage got built.
Okay.
And Scott and Murray are both in a position to know that dance floor was kind of made for a makeshift stage and stuff like that. We willed our way to making a stage because of this. And if I think Fat City sucked, so should have everybody else. But no, Riff Magazine thought the Union Underground and create three side stages was a great idea. Andrea, you worked for Riff Magazine. What did you know about this prior to the show?
Well, so I worked and did the photo shoot for the band or for the flyer for the show.
Right.
So I remember early stages of that with that girl Tammy that was the journalist for Riff Music Magazine. We had some girl come over and we had Maris show up and he did her makeup and did a photo shoot with her. And then later I did a photo shoot with Maris and Greg and had the flyers for all of that. So
Right.
I wasn't really in the like planning process of it. I just knew that it was going to be at Fat City and that it was going to be in all these different rooms and sounded like a good time to me.
Okay.
Yeah, what could go
Okay.
wrong?
Now, this is where I'm going to pull this to Scott because Scott was an SFA. SFA was one of the, weren't you one of the headliners on one of the stages? You were headlining, Ion, and Drug Under was the third, if I'm not
Oh yeah,
mistaken, right,
Drug
Scott?
Under was there. I forgot about Ion. Yeah. Yeah, probably. I guess I don't know. It was a madhouse. I remember. It was as controlled chaos, I guess, as you could get. Uh I remember it being a lot of fun and a lot of people being there, but I know it didn't end very well.
Well,
Which was
I,
unfortunate, really, because the night seemed to
mm,
be on a great track. And I don't know what exactly happened to make it go sideways, but
right.
So
it was like, okay,
I'm
everybody's out.
here.
Uh, I, I was actually playing at Bottoms Up Tavern that night with a band called Field of Fury. I think there was about 15 people that entire night. You know,
Wow.
John's here, you know, and I just remember the E list, the Colorado Metal E list the next day just flooded with people talking about the debacle. One band trashed a makeshift green room. Andrea, did you do anything about that?
Well, okay, so this is what I remember. And it's funny because I remember Fat City like as a kid going there on like field trips and enjoying it as a family fun center. And
Hmm.
so I was like, what the heck are they thinking of doing this, And then I showed up with Tammy and in the bowling area, I think was like the punk rock area.
Right.
Then they had the great big ballroom that
Hmm.
apparently whoever was running that brought like real goat's blood and that got spilled all over the carpet and had to be
Oh.
completely torn out and redone.
Right.
And so yeah, no, I don't remember a green room getting trashed, but since this was so long ago, what I
Right.
recall was there was a lot of drugs that were present. A lot of
Hmm.
cocaine was being passed around to all the rock stars and whatnot. And
Right.
with it being the green room was a meeting room and had cameras in it. And so that activity was right there displayed on camera and the cops got to see it and the people quickly went away for the rest of the night.
Well, I heard Greg got arrested late that night.
Yep. Yeah.
You
My
know,
partner Tammy got arrested. Greg got arrested.
Right. Hey, John, we're talking about the Fat City disaster of 2003,
I
Halloween.
I remember, and ended
Yeah,
up with a
okay.
bunch of people breaking crap in the bowling alley.
What?
Right.
Yeah, so I think what happened was they heard they weren't going to get paid, and all of a sudden everybody got really pissed off and decided they were going to take their money from Fat City however they wanted to.
Right. Because I actually, Doug Tackett, by the way, got in touch with me. He sent me some really good photos, and I just remember just kind of like, like a band called Horse. I'm like, okay, they naturally didn't participate, but Greg agreed to host it. They said he wasn't going to get paid, and I heard it got nasty and all that. I heard Maris got picked up in a limo, and he had to get a cab home.
Yep. I remember he loves saying how I went there feeling like a rock star, and then I was sitting on the sidewalk outside like, how the fuck am I going to get home? I was in a similar situation because I went up there with my friend, and she went to jail, and I needed to find a ride home myself.
Hmm. Okay. Does
Wow.
anyone still know anybody that has a flyer of that event?
I've got a bunch of photos that Andrea took.
Okay. You know what? That's going to be come in handy for the archive. The reason I take interest in that event is because it was just like it was trying to be something really big without working on it. To me, that's
Yeah,
how it came across. It's just
they
like
definitely did not have the proper logistics in place to handle what they got
right.
themselves into.
I'm not trying to diss anybody, diss
No,
anyone,
no, no.
but I'm just simply saying it's like this is the epitome of trying to, get too much too soon, and it was just the wrong venue to do it. It was
Yeah.
horrendous. They should
And
have,
we,
if they want to do something like that, they should have rented the Sherman Event Center or something.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but it was just like, I just remember, waking up the next day and going up to my email, and the Colorado Mail Elis is just flooded with, talking about how lousy, how bad this event went, really bad. But again, just Andrea, the next day, did Riff Magazine just completely collapse? What was the aftermath?
Yeah, pretty much from what I remember, that was the end of Riff. Uh,
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, they pretty much got, I think the liability of all the destruction that happened fell on them
right,
ultimately. So, yeah, financially, they were just destroyed.
right. Okay, all right.
I,
Well,
I
that's
have to
that.
say, I have to say that I did not hear that name Riff Magazine. I can't even remember the last time I'd heard that. I totally forgot about that magazine.
Yeah.
And that's when
Hey,
it ended.
right. That's when it ended. Hey, James,
Wow.
Cronow did not get invited to
More of a
this.
newspaper type
Yeah,
thing, Bree.
Cronow, did you
Yeah.
not get invited, or did you decline participating in that event?
I've never even heard of that event. So I think that was like maybe when I was just joining Cronow or
Yeah.
this one sounds fun. I'm sorry I missed it.
No. Well,
I don't know if you are.
It was fun from a fan's point for sure.
Yeah.
hey, John, why did Rogue not play, or did you guys
Who
even
did
get
play?
offered?
Yeah, we totally played.
Did you play?
We, in fact, Andrea took pictures of us. That's what I was talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
We were on the stage with Typhoid Mary.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
We were on the stage with Typhoid Jerry. It was after Vinny died.
Right.
And right for you opened up for Union Underground, right?
And we opened up for Union Underground.
Yep.
Right.
Brutal Infliction was there too,
Right.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
on that
John,
same stage.
did Rogue get paid for that?
If we ever got paid, it made it to Bill's rent, not to any of us. Uh,
Okay. All right. Is it with the DAV? If all the late arrivals, we'll let them get their two Abes in. Any final thoughts on the Riff Magazine disaster of 2003? Anybody got anything?
I really liked Riff
You know,
Magazine.
I think we took that gig because the Union Underground was on it, and they were kind of hot. So we were just hoping just to get in front of faces. But I don't remember. I mean, other than some of the whirlwind stuff, I don't remember a whole lot about that. I remember we played, and I don't think we stuck around very long because, like you said, it all kind of blew up on the E-list on what happened afterward, and it was like, holy shit! Thank God we didn't stick around there.
Right. All right. All right. Let's move on. And this is one, Andrea. I on purpose did not do this on our podcast because we're going to talk about the DAV, which there will never be the likes of ever again. There never was before, but that was the greatest place for a rehearsal. And I know everyone spilled their guts. I'm going to start with James. That just wasn't a rehearsal space. That was home for a while, wasn't it?
Lived at the DAV for about 2 weeks when I got kicked out of my girlfriend's house, or I left my girlfriend's house. And yeah, so I lived in that tiny basement room next to your room, Johnny. That was the first place we moved into, and I was crashing there for a couple of weeks. And it's spooky at night when you're totally alone there and you're in that basement and it's pitch black and there's weird noises and you're wondering if the crackheads are going to break in.
The answer is yes.
No, okay. Now this leads to my first thing. How did you get into the DAV in the first place? How did that work?
Rogue got us in.
Rogue got you in, but John, Scott, you got in through SMA. Andrea, you were there a lot. But what do you just go out to the front door? Hi, I'd like a rehearsal space, please. How did that work?
There was the old guys at the front who owned the
Walton
DAV
Herald.
hall.
Walton Herald were they were the administrators from DAV Chapter 21, Clyde Simmons chapter, and they ran that place.
Clyde Simmons, that was the name. We were trying to think of that.
And so Bill lived at Chester and Colfax. That's about 6 blocks from the DAV. And so Bill had hit them up for practice spaces right away when he heard bands jamming there. And Rogue got a room upstairs and eventually that big room downstairs. And Bill just kept funneling any bands that he knew that needed a place to keep that place packed with people.
All right. How much was that room a month, the downstairs room?
It was the same as the upstairs rooms, the little tiny ones. I forget. Still got that manila envelope we paid rent in. I think it was.
I think it was
75.
I think ours was $100 because I remember having to kick that. That was a hard $25 to let go of, man, back then.
I think we went from 200 to 275 at the end, or something like that.
That was about 250.
Because
I think they were all around 250 at the end.
Right. Well, I actually rehearsed at 2 different places. I rehearsed at Sound Structure off 31st and Walnut. That was a nice place. It was also very pricey. We paid $350 a month, but there were no crackheads.
And some of those bands I auditioned for some bands, and they were like, "Yeah, we got this room." It was like an old schoolhouse or something that had some bands in it. And those rooms were like $400 a month. And it was like, dude, I don't even pay $400 for my fucking house. There's no way I can put that money towards
Well,
that.
to be very fair, Scott, Sound Structure, the owner, John Burr, you got what you paid for. You were secure, you were safe. And also, if you paid your rent on time for a year, he had Avalanche season tickets. He would give you a pair of tickets.
Yeah.
And they were real nice. He was pricey. He was worth it. We also rehearsed. Depth Charge also rehearsed at the Great Divide Brewery, which is 1 block away from the Denver Rescue Mission. That was interesting.
Yeah.
That was interesting. But at the DAV, John, the place caught on fire. When was that? And what was the aftermath?
It happened upstairs. If you go upstairs and you turn right, just past right where those bathrooms were, down the hall, all the way down there. That started there. The whole upstairs was gutted. I've got a couple pictures. They're really dark because it was a disposable camera. But that whole upstairs, bar 2 rooms, burnt to the ground. At the top of the stairs, the one with the bathroom, I was actually renting that room at the time. That one did not burn. And then the opposite corner upstairs, way back, I think Tribe practiced back there. I think it was Tribe. Other than that, the whole upstairs gutted. And after that, no bands happened for forever.
Right.
Back until I got my band back in there.
Right.
So did they rebuild the place then, Johnny?
It never burnt down.
Okay.
It just gutted the upstairs. Yeah, that place is a bomb shelter, literally.
Right.
So the structure didn't go anywhere. They just redesigned the upstairs and rented it out. There was a lawyer up there. There was a tax attorney up there. There was a food bank that was up there.
Oh, wow.
A boys club was in there. The boys club had the whole downstairs, every room, the old Cronau room, the side room, the Rogue room, all of them.
Typhoids and all of them, huh?
Every one of them. Yeah, they had set up a bunch of stuff for disadvantaged youth. And there was some kind of a church in there, but I don't think there was enough preaching they could get rid of the debauchery that happened in that place.
And on that note, John,
I didn't do nothing.
Explain the Rogue strategy of parties at the DAV after Rogue shows. Spill.
Well, we were just trying to bribe people. We would buy a keg of beer, and people could get into the kegger party only if we saw them at the show.
Right.
So if they made contact with us at the show, you could come in and drink on our beer for free. It cost us $50. I think a keg was $45 at the time. Cost us $45, and we'd make $500 on the show that night. So it all worked out.
Right. Now, also, now, if I'm not mistaken, who played with Rogue? James, you played with Rogue a couple of times, didn't you?
Yeah.
Many times. I'd probably say 5 or 10 times.
Right. So SMA played with Rogue one night, didn't they?
I think we played a couple of nights together.
I think we played 2 or 3. We played. It's got to be 3 or 4 of them.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barb Guy has entered the room.
Hi, Barb.
Hello. Sorry,
Barb, we're talking about the DAV, the rehearsal space off East Colfax. I know you had your own rooms up in Federal Heights, right?
Thornton off of
Who did you rent to?
I'm sorry, what?
Who did you rent to? We're talking about rehearsal spaces.
Sick, Uncle Rip, Love 45 / Razzle Dazzle / whatever they were.
Right. Okay.
Razzle Dazzle. Yeah, that's way back machine there.
Way back. Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm gonna go. Simply say regarding the DAV is just kind of to me, the debauchery and other whatnots. But John, didn't some national acts come and pay a visit?
We had Prong down there. Static X actually played in the Rogue Room. They got a raw deal and lost their 18 and over whatever show, and so they just packed up all their fans and came back to the Rogue Room.
Hilarious.
Somewhere there's a video of it. I don't know where it ever happened, but someone got a video of it.
Was this pre-Push It era, or was this when they were?
This is when they were big.
No kidding.
Yeah. This was height to Wayne Static era.
Wow.
And they were playing. It was the Bluebird or the Ogden. I don't remember which one. And it was supposed to be an 18 and over show. And then they showed up and it got changed to 21 and over, and all their fans were outside, and Static X just packed up the gear. They called something says Rod Brown and some or Nick or one of them. And they got a hold of Bill, and Bill said our room's big enough, and they came down and set up and jammed in the Rogue Room.
That's fucking awesome. That is so awesome.
And I take it no money was involved with that, John?
I never saw a dime.
Not a dime?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a
No,
dime.
I think it was free. We just asked them to come down, and they came down. I think Bill was the only Rogue member who was there when it all happened. Bill
Okay.
went down and unlocked the door. I wasn't there.
Right.
I just know that it happened.
Right. Okay, we're going to backtrack a little bit. Barb, were you familiar with Riff Magazine at all?
Well, other than having a few copies of it, no.
No, okay. I didn't know because we earlier before you joined, we talked about the 2003 Fat City show. Riff Magazine had headlining the Union Underground and had the 3 side stages. I didn't know if you had any knowledge of that event or anything.
No, not at all.
No,
Sorry.
not at all. No, there's nothing to be sorry about. So we're going to ask you one thing. I'm going to ask you, Barb. Love 45. Love 45 is the band that should have made it. Above and beyond by far. And my question is, what went wrong?
Well, first of all, they didn't have the songs. A lot of their songwriting had reminiscent undertones of somebody else's song. And they might have benefited by getting professional writers or co-writing with somebody. But you could listen to their songs and you go, oh, there's the Kiss song.
Right.
There's the Beatles song.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a lot of that.
I just don't understand it because I saw them at the Bluebird. They did a cover of the Beatles' Help, and I'm just like, how come these guys aren't signed yet? They were
well,
amazing.
you just said it. You just said it, a cover. You really don't make it big most of the time on covers.
Well,
you
I
have to have your
understand that.
own original writing.
Right. Okay. I know Bill Terrell had a little bit of involvement on their little record deal. You know, Three Doors Down was involved. John, I don't know what you know, but it's just like I just thought it just you just press record and they're gonna get an audience. I don't understand if egos got involved. I'm just baffled to this day why they aren't bigger than the Fray.
They did a tour. I think they did like the Warp Tour or something, and they just couldn't seem to pick up people.
Right.
And by that time, I think their label had switched Dan for Mickey for center stage. I won't say lead vocals because Mickey was still doing the lead vocals.
What was that vocal situation? I heard there was kind of some sort of switch around. Whose decision was that? Who knows about it?
I don't think it was the band's decision. I think it had a lot to do with maybe their management and the record company.
Right.
So
Find that it baffles me to this day. So, but anyways, just we're just moving on. Opening for nationals, being in festivals and other whatnots. James, didn't you open for Metal Church?
Open for Metal Church, Flaw, and Drowning Pool one time.
Okay. What was your experiences of it? Because for me, I did a few, and I'm going to talk about Deep Freeze Fest 5, in which headlined Flotsam and Jetsam in a little bit. But opening for nationals, when everybody looking back, did we make too much of a deal of it? Was it not enough? Was it overrated? Was it underrated? James, we'll start with you.
No, I think it was awesome experience, and the fact that the NIPP let local bands open for nationals, I thought was huge. Everyone wanted those slots, and
right.
it was an honor and a privilege to be able to do it.
Right. All right, Barb, I'm gonna go with you next. If I'm not mistaken, Barb, didn't you book Pretty Boy Floyd to play at X before Russia? Was that you?
No, I didn't have anything to do with the national acts. I only
You only
worked
did the
really hard to
locals?
get
I
to
just
just the
remember Pretty
locals
Boy
in.
Floyd being booked at X, and somehow Judy Larson got their hospitality writer, which was insanely ridiculous. So, they,
Wouldn't be surprised.
yeah, they wanted a case of vodka and a carton of cigarettes, but you know. But anyways, national acts. John Rogue opened for a lot of them. Did you
Yeah, we
get
got lucky.
sometimes? Did you get paid, or sometimes you didn't get paid?
Usually never.
Mm-hmm.
National shows you were doing just because
Yeah.
it was always
Exposure.
Yeah.
Exposure.
yeah. I
Yep.
got so much damn exposure. I don't know what to do with it. I've been exposed. Yeah, we never saw a penny for the national shows. It was usually just to do it.
Right.
But on the other hand, if you had uh, your audio tape or a CD, you could sure sell a whole lot of those.
Yeah.
Danny Masters opened for Tesla at Fillmore, and they sold all 100 of their audio tapes.
But what?
So
But isn't there a hall? Wasn't there a hall fee attached to that, Barb?
sometimes, but on the whole, if it was a NIP production, well, even Live Nation, because I worked with Live Nation for a while, they didn't care since they weren't paying you. That was kind of the trade-off, was
Okay.
you could sell your merchandise. So
Okay. So no hall fee. Okay. So
At all of those Ogden and Bluebird shows that we did, NIPP made enough money off the bar that they paid all of their bills back then. They would pay the band, they'd pay all the support, they'd pay the staff, they'd pay the security, and
right.
they'd still make out good.
Right.
So yeah, they were doing great. I don't know what changed other than maybe greedy people want more money.
It's
Um,
definitely greedy people wanting more money. Andrea, did you for Riff Magazine and Throw Culture? Did you manage to get in some national shows, get some other things? What was it like for you?
I did. Yeah. So we did, like I talked before with Typo Negative, we covered a lot of the Warp tours. So I remember one Warp tour at Fiddler's Green. We actually didn't have passes or anything, but we had our credential laminates, and we just walked in the back door through the trailers, and nobody questioned us at all. And that's where I got to photograph Slipknot. And then a couple months after that, we got to interview Josie from Saliva. So we had backstage tickets for that. And I didn't have photo passes, but I had my camera. And that's when they opened for Kiss and Aerosmith.
Right.
And I remember Tammy was like, when they play, as soon as they start playing, just bum rush the stage, get as close as you can, shoot off as many frames as you can, and get the fuck out of there. And that's exactly what I did. I got shots of Gene Simmons walking straight at me. He saw me and he was walking straight at me, flicking his tongue and fingers playing. And I got like 10 frames of that of him straight into my camera. And yeah, and then I remember people were like, who the fuck are you? Get out of here, you know? And I was like, cool, I got my pictures, I'm out. But yeah, I photographed the Super Joint Ritual. That wasn't for Riff, but we were there for the Union Underground for Riff's. It was the Rock and Freak Fest, is what they called that at Fat City. So yeah, I got a lot of national exposure of photographing bands through Riff.
Okay.
Thanks for reminding me, Andrea. I was looking for those pictures. I couldn't remember what folder I stored it under. Freak Fest. I remember that now.
There you go.
Cool. All right. I'm going to talk about Deep Freeze Fest 5, which headlined Flotsam and Jetsam. Murray was an attendee. You attended that night. Scott Esteve was part of that bill that night. It had headlined Flotsam and Jetsam. Flotsam and Jetsam literally flew into town, just bringing their guitars, no chords. We had to provide. We provided all the back line. All they did was bring their guitars, tuned, the one tuning, and I just remember afterwards, after the vocalist Eric got drunk and passed out, then two other guys in the band went after the female bartenders, and Craig, the drummer, and I are talking. He's like, "Can you drive us back to the airport?" They were literally in Denver for 8 hours that night.
Wow.
Yeah, that sounds like they had some pretty good tour support.
Let me put it to you like this, because everyone knows I wore a lot of hats at Pinky's. My day started at 8 o'clock cleaning up and bartending, then doing that, doing doing monitors for that entire show, playing my set, doing monitors for my band, then doing everybody else, then doing all that, then taking Flotsam and Jetsam back to the airport and trying to wake up Eric so he can, so he doesn't throw up in my car.
I think I remember a conversation with you before you bailed out of there about we'll talk tomorrow, but probably not tomorrow. It might be the next day or some shit like that.
Well, I just remember one thing at Pinky's, we used to have fog. Pinky's used to spray out a lot of fog because that's what Colorado Rock did. I remember asking Scott, do you want fog? No!
No fucking fog. No goddamn strobe lights. Yeah, those were two. That was our only tour rider. No fucking smoke. No strobe lights.
Right.
I can freak out on my own. I don't need to have a seizure on the stage.
Right.
I hear you. I agree.
Right. So.
Hey, Ty.
Yeah.
I can remember some years after that show, Eric had made some statement, almost like he was going to leave the band because of their substance abuse problems.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still around today, so they must have figured it out.
Well, the big thing about Eric is that Eric wasn't their touring singer at the time. He was the original guy, and they had some guy, I think, believe Robert Ramirez.
Really?
So when my bosses booked Flotsam and Jetsam, I'm simply saying maybe we'll look out and get Eric. Nothing against the other guy, but Eric's the original guy. And when Craig got on the phone with me that week, just tying up loose ends, he's like, "Oh, by the way, we're bringing Eric." I'm like, "Cool." And now a guy I watched on MTV is passed out drunk in my Hyundai Elantra en route to the airport. That's not something you quickly forget. But
yeah, we actually opened up for Flotsam back in can't remember if it was 98 or 99 in San Antonio at the November to Dismember.
How did you even end up with that thing?
I have no idea. I think Nick Seelinger, our drummer, set it up.
Right.
And we opened up that stage, which also featured SOD, Flotsam, Riot. I don't know. It's so long ago. I can't remember.
Right.
We opened up that stage, and no one knew us, but it went well. It was a fun night.
Was that Billy Milano, SOD?
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to see Flotsam.
Yeah, dude. I have a picture of him. We're got our arms around each other, and I'm giving the devil horns, and it's after the carnage of the entire night, because they headlined that stage, I think, right after Flotsam. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Flotsam and Jetsam in '99 at Buffalo Rose.
Right, Corruption opened that show
for him. Yeah.
Wow.
I remember that. Matter of fact, Silencer was trying to get that show. Fat chance. Corruption was well ahead of it, but you couldn't tell Keith Spargo that. He wanted to open for Flotsam no matter what, and he just didn't get it. He was upset, but oh well, we were all young ones. So,
yeah.
But talking about the Buffalo Rose, it's just that, you can get nationals there, but you can't locally. That was the hardest place to draw. Even Rogue had problems, right, John?
Off and on. A couple shows are crazy there. Most of them you couldn't. There was 15 people in that big old hall. Yeah. But a couple shows, I think I played with Trickster there once, and it was off the hook. Warrant was off the hook. It depends on which draw it was.
Right.
Yeah, I
Well,
remember being up in that upper deck that they had on the back side. There was like a patio up above in that room at some show there, and just going, Jesus Christ, there are so many people here. It was almost one of those panic warning moments, like, make sure you know where the exits are. It was like, there are so many people in here.
Once bitten, twice shy, baby.
Jess Steele opened. They won a contest after the Gold Rush. They were to be the opening act. Somewhere along the line, Crazy Miss Daisy got put in between. And Jess Steele brought a huge crowd. And everybody was pretty pissed about that, because that was supposed to be the big prize.
I think we had about 100 people there with maybe 50 pubic hairs, but there was 100 people there.
Yeah.
Did they still have that big fucking bear on the stage back then?
No. Back
Bear
then
was
they
gone?
did, but no more. Yeah, now it's gone.
Yeah.
It's a wedding venue now, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah, they do weddings there.
Well, they do a lot of blues shows too. Their new owner's a big blues guy, so they do a huge amount of blues shows.
No, okay. Now, Barb, you're in the position to know in terms of quality for people to work with. The Buffalo Rose, was that good, bad, or indifferent for you?
Well, I was lucky to have a friend named Karen Kraft who was security, and she helped to book the shows. So she would put a good word in for us. We did Great White, Europe, trying to think. So I think once people found their way there and realized it wasn't that hard to get to. Now, the big problem at the time that I was booking bands in was the lack of parking. But since the city has built a parking garage, so there's a lot more parking available now for events. And they went through a change. Murray owned it for a long time. He could be a little off-putting, shall we say. And then he sold it. And I've been up there a couple of times since. One Track Mind opened for somebody. You remember that, John?
Yeah, I do. We played with Junkyard there. I played with Slaughter there. I think I played 3 or 4 nationals there with One Track Mind. So it's really nice inside. It is beautiful inside. It reminds me of the Gothic, how they totally gutted it and made it look nice.
Yeah, no, the Buffalo Rose, between Murray and this new guy, they've done a ton of remodeling in it. So really made it a very nice venue. It's a great place to play if you can get in. You know, and again, once your crowd sees the place and sees that there's parking available, that how easy it is to get to. I mean, just go straight up 6th Avenue and around the corner, you know. I think that you can get them back. As long as your band does well, you know.
Okay. Now, I talked to James Brennan on his podcast. He actually, we're gonna finalize last topic, your dream team lineup. James actually got together with Mark Grabowski and Nick Studin and Nathan Salas, and I believe it was Randy too, right, James? You know, you tried to get that lineup together, it never took, right?
Yeah, it wasn't Randy. It was Sean, Mark, and Nick from Corruption, me and Nate.
It was a Corruption Cronow mix. But I'm going to start with Andrea, because my dream lineup of all time, we'd be a total Lacuna Coil ripoff. James lead vocals, Don Shears offering 74 female vocals, Dan Lind guitar, me on bass, Talia Hoyt from Anodize on keyboards, and Nick Studin on drums. Andrea, who is your dream team lineup? Who is it? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, geez. Okay. So let's see. Drums. I think I'd have to agree with you on Nick Studin. He was definitely one of my very favorites. Female vocalist, I would definitely have to say Marilyn Taylor with
Right, Marilyn.
SJ, of course. In fact, I might go see her in a couple weeks at her show.
Oh, cool.
Right.
Tell her hi.
And then oh man, male vocalist back in the day, then I loved Bill Terrell's vocals. They were just really great. And then of course Bill and Marilyn did that song together, and that was magical for sure. Bass, I gotta give it to E.A. Schuster.
Okay.
Rogue was definitely one of my favorite bands. So let's see, that's vocals, bass, guitars.
Drums, right.
Oh man, shoot, guitars. Oh, a lot of guitar players. Johnny was definitely one of the greats. I won't mention another who was I thought was pretty good. You know, I just loved live music back then. And, you know, I am not a musician. I don't know anything about songwriting or music building or anything like that, but I just loved the energy and the camaraderie. And honestly, to me, it was amazing because I would know musicians and I would like watch a drummer practice without anything else around and be like, what the heck is he playing, you know? But then you put those 5 people on stage and they all do their own thing and it comes together and it just is amazing. So
cool.
Yeah, that would be my dream lineup. I would say maybe other than Bill on vocals would be Mark Grabowski.
Right.
He has such an amazing range of being melodic as well as growly and thick. So yeah.
Right. Okay. All right, John, you're up.
I would choose the original Typhoid Mary lineup. Dugan and Ryan, Vinny and Slippy. There was something magical about that band at that time.
There was. I can't even agree with
you.
They
made the hairs on my arms stand up. The only band in town that ever made the hairs on my arms stand up, and I wasn't in it, so that was cool.
Keep talking.
And I tell you, that music still makes the hairs on my arms stand up to this day, man.
It was moody, it was heavy, it was rhythmic. Yeah, there was catchy hooks to it. It is a damn shame that everything happened with Typhoid Mary, because we were all convinced that was the foot in the door that was going to drag all of the Rogues and Cronows and everybody through the door.
Yeah.
Okay. Barb, you've been at this a very long time. Who's your dream lineup? I really want to know.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you.
Why am I not surprised about this answer?
Because a lot of it would depend on the style of music.
Right.
I've got a guitar player in mind, but he'd have to be playing a certain kind of music. Same way with the vocalists, the drummers, and so on. Right. And I think I worked with a lot of really good bands. They had no trouble getting booking. More importantly, they had no trouble getting booked back. And they also started making money. And vocalists are hard to come by. I personally looked for vocalists that not only could stay in key, but had great diction.
Yeah.
I can think of one band that, has had tons of opportunities, but the lead singer, you can't understand a word they're singing. And that has killed a ton of bands. I can tell you right now that auditionees for like American Idol and The Voice and that, 90% of them get kicked off right away because the diction is not good or because they cannot sing on key.
Okay, that's a fair answer. Scott, you're up. We're going to end with Murray.
Oh, and see, I'm going to divert like Barb did because there was so many
in the game. She's been in the game for decades, all sorts of styles.
I'll give you my reason why, because there were so many. If I had a dream band, I would want Murray as my bass player and vocalist because the guy is a fucking madman. I would want Dugan from
Okay.
Typhoid on the drums because he's nuts. And really, I just like to be up on stage like Keith from oh shit, now the band fucking ignores me now. They had that dance fucking tune. He had the goofy mohawk red. Well, I just be a dancer up on stage and throw background vocals here and there, just fucking have a good time. But I mean, Mike from FOMO Fuyab, Ty, all those guys from FOMO were badass musicians. The
Yeah,
guys in
they were.
Corona, I mean, there were musicians all over the place. It was like you'd watch them, and I felt bad if they looked out at me and I was laughing, but it wasn't anything bad. It was like, holy shit, I can't believe what I'm viewing right now. And it just tickled something inside of me that just made me fucking laugh.
Right.
But
Okay.
yeah, there's not one solid dream package I would have. I would love to jam with every motherfucker that's ever walked by. Woody, Joe C, the guys in Malignari, I mean, the bands are endless. And it would be so fun just to have a whole coliseum of musicians that you could just go, hey, come on up here. Let's play While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
I'm not doing the Prince part.
Good, because you want your guitar back, right?
I'm not that good.
Yeah.
All right, Murray, we end with you. What's your dream lineup?
I think that, like, I wouldn't care if it was eclectic mix. I mean, I kind of like bands like that, where you're melding different genres. So I think I'd probably go with Marilyn on vocals. I mean, she just had the entire package.
Right.
She was great on stage and she had the voice. And I think on bass, I would either go with Scott or I would go with Mark from Corruption.
Okay.
Mark was badass. Love that dude.
But both of you guys were just it made me feel like I wasn't really a bass player. I was just a performer. You know what I mean? You guys had that skill that set you apart. And the bands you were playing in, you demanded that, I think for guitars, Silencer was always my favorite band, so I would go with them as my two guitarists.
Okay, Danny Keith. Okay.
And then what's left? Oh, drummer. That's a tough one. I have no idea.
We have 3 votes. We have 3 votes for Nick Student. We have 1 vote for Jim. 1 vote for Jim Dugan.
I don't know. Throw some more names out. It's been so long. I mean, there were so many good musicians.
Oh man, Rod was a good drummer. Rod Brown was a great drummer.
Rod wasn't bad. Well, he was. Rod was more of a Paul Rudd. And Paul Rudd.
Here we go. How about who was the drummer for not the original drummer for Cerberus, but the one after where their last CD,
right.
And he ended up being like a studio drummer for bands.
No kidding.
Yeah, he was really good, real young kid.
Talking about Jeremy?
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, Andrea.
Yeah, I remember we went to Las Vegas Metal Fest with Jeremy and he wasn't even 21.
Wow. He had a lot of talent for that age.
Well, that Cerberus opening lineup, Jeremy, Patrick Russell, Dave Otero, and Ivan Alcala, that was like magic.
Yeah.
A magical first lineup.
I was going to say guitars. Yeah, the Cerberus guitarists were.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, what about James? What's your dream lineup, dude? We haven't got you yet.
Actually, he tried it already.
Yeah,
He tried.
so I tried to merge Chronow and Corruption. The guys from
Oh, that's
Corruption
right.
are
Okay.
amazing.
Okay.
So we tried to put it together, and on paper it was, magic. And we had a few rehearsals, and we, were trying to do a few things, but it just never worked out. So it's like you can put these great people together, but if the chemistry is not there and it just doesn't work, it's a
Very
weird
cool.
thing. Like you can take the talent, but to me, it really comes down to people who are friends and on the same wavelength. And, that putting a band together is kind of a special thing.
Yeah.
Ladies and
Q.
gentlemen, Wayne Quigley has joined the party. Hello, Wayne.
James Brennan, I have to tell a quick story. I just remembered this. Actually, thought of it yesterday. Do you remember inviting me down to jam with some really groovy folks down south near Ted's house? And we went down there, and the guy blew a fuse in his amp and put an automotive fuse in the back of this really expensive guitar head and blew this head up. And James and I are sitting there, and they put this fuse in there, and I look at James, and we're both like, this isn't going to work. And the next thing you know, the guitar head's smoking. They let all the magic smoke out, and we realized the trick to a guitar head is you keep the magic smoke in the head. But yeah, I just thought of that story, James. That was fun. James and I sitting there looking at these cats who were really talented, but not real smart.
Yeah.
All right. Now that James, this was something for the last month's event. Now that Barb and Wayne are here, I've always wanted to ask Barb. Barb, how did you and Wayne work together? What was she like for you breaking into the into the booking biz?
Well, actually, I've never met Wayne. This was back in the good old days when you did everything by telephone. We didn't even have computers. And so he called me to book his son's band into Iliff Park. And I was always willing to give the bands at least one chance. And I was very adamant that the bars make their money from bringing people in. So you needed to get out and promote. And unfortunately, I was also booking X at the same time. And so I never got to see Wayne's son's band, nor did I get to meet Wayne, but we did talk on the telephone several times.
Right.
So hi, Wayne.
Oh, man.
Like,
actually, you're probably talking about Severance, because my son would not have been old enough to be in a band, but you're probably talking about Severance when I was managing Severance, and I was probably talking about those guys.
Mm-hmm.
That would be right about that time.
I remember that band.
From Longmont? Longmont, weren't you from?
Oh no, huh? We were out of Aurora.
Aurora. Well, I'm crossing you with somebody else, I think. But I know that I never got to meet you.
Yeah, we never got to physically meet, but we did talk on the phone a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Wayne, you missed out on the start of this conversation. This is Johnny.
What's up, John?
Nothing. What's happening, man? They had just gone around the circle and asked everybody if you had to make a dream lineup from the Denver bands of that era, what would your dream lineup be?
Good Lord, that would be freaking.
You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings, so just
no.
The first thing that comes to mind.
See, and here's the thing. So there were so many good there were so many good bands. I mean, and ones that didn't last very long, I wish would have lasted longer. Like, let's go with Control Element. I don't know if you ever remember Control Element. That was a really good band and did not last very long. Let's see. I would go probably with, oh man, top five. I would have to put in the Ogden Theater. I would put Corruption. I probably would put Rogue, Anchor. I don't know if you remember Anchor.
Yeah.
I do.
Let's see, top five. So two more to go with spot 1 and 2. And it would be very selfish of me to say Severance, but there were bands out there that that would run circles. Switch pin, there's
Okay.
another one. Trip cage
Trip cage.
would be another one.
Yeah, I remember that.
And of course, James is here, and I would have to say that one of the best dudes to work with ever. Cronow would be another band I would also put. See, that's why it's so hard for me to pick top 5.
Well, Wayne,
I was always the dude. I was always the dude that could put 6 bands on a show and make it work. So let's go with 6.
How about if I think the question was actually, which we didn't clarify, but it's make a dream band based on members from the scene.
Yeah, it's like individual players, Wayne. I'm curious if you have one.
Ooh, that's even tougher, man.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah, I'm really going to be sitting here thinking.
We're going to have our podcast next month, so you can give me your answer there.
Okay, let me put this in my notes. Let me put this on my notes.
There was one lineup I tried getting to make happen at Pinky's, and it just didn't happen. I was trying to get S.of.A., Offering 74, Anodize, and the Siren Project, an all-women's lineup. It didn't happen, but I tried. But
Man, see, all those bands were just amazing, dude.
That would have been an amazing evening.
Yes,
it just didn't happen.
Man. Okay, so you want what are...
I see that you also managed Autumn Black for a while, Wayne.
Autumn Black. Oh, I did work with Autumn Black. That was way back. Golly.
Yeah,
man, I'm really feeling my old now. Feeling my age. Holy mackerel.
Then there's Stacy.
Oh, hi, Stacy.
Hi.
How are you?
Going on, Stacy?
Oh, hi, Stacy.
Hi.
Of all the things that happened out of the circuit, a family started it. A family came from it. I think that is something that to me is a victory, Stacy, in my opinion.
What? Having a family
starting
out
a
of
family
it?
out of this music circuit, getting a family out, that has to feel like something victorious.
Well, like a lot of people did, right? Nick Jackson and Deborah.
Right.
They got together, S.of.A., Marilyn.
And
Brent got married, right? I was actually at their wedding.
Mm-hmm.
They're not together anymore, but their kid looks exactly like him. He's like a spitting image. He's really good looking, of course, Marilyn. But they, are still around. He's playing in like a country band.
Brad is, yeah.
I heard.
Yep.
I heard.
Yeah, and she's doing the cover bands for.
She's doing Alanis Morissette.
Yeah. Me and Andrea are going to go to her show on the 17th.
Oh, please tell her I said hello.
I will.
Well, and then of course Don and Gil, they started way back in the day, and they're still married.
They were together from the start, even before Offering 74 became a reality. I know this because they went to the Colorado School of Mines, where Keith Spargo also went, and that's how they got acquainted. And when I was living in Golden, that's how I met Keith, and that's how I got into this thing.
I always wondered that association. Thank you for that.
It's their fault.
It's all their fault. It's all their fault entirely. So, anyway.
Yeah, I actually photographed Don and Gil. I think last year they played at this small bowling alley up in Broomfield.
Right.
Sunrise Drive. Starting to play shows at, surprisingly, even like big national bands. This big
Offering 74.
No, they are
Sunrise Drive.
Sunrise Drive.
Yep. Totally.
So, as I say, it's just kind of like, I see them post that. I'm just kind of like, well, okay, whatever. Just go out and play and have fun, guys. So, hey, Stacy, we're glad you're here. We got into the party late, but we have a question for you.
Okay.
Who is your all-time dream lineup in terms of a band? If you could form a band, Ivan would naturally play guitar. We'll give you that. But who would be your bassist, vocalist, and drummer?
Ivan would probably be on drums.
Oh, would Ivan be on drums?
So that's something that a lot of people don't know, like when Ivan first started playing. And this is in a video I'm going to make for you guys because we have tons of shit down in the studio. But when he, first started, he was a drummer. He came here to the US and he's like, I can't fucking haul drums around, man. So he became a guitarist and started writing. And so everybody since the Cerberus days think of Ivan as a guitarist. His heart and soul is actually being a drummer.
Right.
But that's, why he beat the shit out of people like Corey on drums and like him and Otero really drove Corey into the ground, right? About those recordings that he did. So,
right.
But that's why, because, Otero was a drummer as well. Ivan was a drummer. They're like, do it again, Corey. So, but he is
still talk to Dave Otero?
What?
Do you and Ivan still talk to Dave?
Just only like, at passing at shows, we'll say hi to him in Chelsea, of course.
Okay. Because he's actually starting a Flatline Music Fest for later this year.
I just saw that posted, yeah.
Yep, I think I did see that.
So I wish him the best, and just
gotta move back to Colorado.
Right.
Music scene here is pretty awesome still, guys.
I'll do like half the pictures I have laying out on the floor downstairs are like probably ones that you took, Andrea.
Okay.
So
cool.
Yeah, there's tons of pictures and we saved all the posters.
Me too.
So from all the venues and stuff.
Oh.
And of course I have the copy of the Throw Culture magazine with Rogue and Throw Cult on it. The classic.
Cool.
Johnny, that was what, summer 99, John? Summer 99, that was.
It had to be. And then Nick and I had switched lines. I was standing in the Throw Cult line and Nick was standing in the Rogue line. We all thought we were each other.
Johnny, you had all those posters like all over your ceiling and walls in the Rogue rehearsal room. Do you guys still have those?
I saved every one of them. When Rogue lost that room, I went in there and took every flyer down. I've got them in a box in my basement. Even the Cronow ones, like your CD release show and that stuff. I've got it.
Awesome. Yeah, we were trying to do the same. We were trying to plaster our walls and match Rogue. We never got there, but yeah, I did the same thing. I've got them in a box.
That's cool. Yeah, they deserve to be somewhere other than a box, but they're in a box.
We will talk about the picture end of the archive. I wanted to get the stories and the people stories done, that part done first, because that was going to be the toughest. And thanks to all you being here, you're helping me do that. On that note, I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to stop